Okay, and here we are on the 1951 Ford truck, and something I've been thinking about even before I received the truck being shipped over to me from Texas is what was I going to do with the exterior. I knew that I was not going to be getting rid of the patina because it had been exactly what I've been looking for, was a patina truck. But I did have the idea. You've probably seen absolutely 8 million or more videos on YouTube about polishing patina, patina protection, clear coating, give it the old boiled linseed oil treatment. And so I've kind of been watching a lot of those, as I'm sure you have, because they're very popular. And definitely going to do, not going to clear coat it, just because my understanding is that only lasts a few years and then you basically ruin your patina when you pull it up. So we're going to do the boiled linseed oil, but then how do we prep the surface? I've been looking at the different possibilities out there. Like I said, there's so many of these videos, and kind of looking at the different methods that people had used, and I thought, rather than just picking one and going with it, why don't I do a test area for several of them and see how I like it? The one big challenge with my truck compared to all these others is what people refer to patina, what I refer to as patina, are different things. People refer to that basically to mean dull paint with perhaps a few oxidized patches of paint, oxidized patches of metal showing through here and there. I mean, of all the videos I watched, they were all like that. I could not find one that was like a vehicle like mine, which is pretty much 100% oxidized metal. This is what I call true patina, in that there really isn't a whole lot of original paint left on this. You can see a few spots here where that's more, there's still some paint there. There's this cool spot here right at the front where the V8 logo is. You can see we've still got some original paint there peeking through. And a few other places just like that, you know, here and there. You can see on this rear fender, we've got some paint, but really not very much. Some under here, a little bit right there. This where there were some reflector lights there, although I think that might have been painted. And then if you saw in my earlier video, this weird rear fender that someone painted a rusty metal color to kind of match. It's not patched or filler or anything like that. And you may remember I did an experiment where I put some paint remover on that and scuffed that down and got to what I think is original paint under there. Still haven't 100% decided what to do. But so in looking at the different methods that people have been using for the patina polishing, prep, whatever you want to call it, I'm going to try 4 different ones here, and we'll let you guys tag along and see what you think. Well, the first one I'm going to try is sanding, which I don't think is going to work. I think it's just going to be too abrasive. It's going to take the patina right off of there, but I'll try it out in a little patch just to see what it's like. We've got then the old Brillo pad, which a lot of people like that. Then we've got the Comet treatment, in our case, Barkeeper's Friend, which is sort of like a improved Comet. And then the old CLR, that one also I think is probably going to be too intense because that's probably going to actually remove some of the rust or oxidized metal or whatever you want to call it. So in thinking about where to do a test, obviously I didn't want to ruin a piece of the truck that would then stand out from the rest of it once I pick a method and go with it. I thought about maybe doing it under a wheel well here, in here like this. I'm still noodling with that, but when I thought about that, I mean, obviously I can do a test area in here and no one would see it. I might just go ahead and do that, at least for the sanding part. The problem being is this part has not been exposed to the elements in the same way that the top of the truck has. So I'm worried that like I could do a test here and then it wouldn't quite exactly match. I don't know. I think I'm gonna at least try maybe the sanding in here because I think that's gonna be the most abrasive, and we'll see what we think. All right, here we go. So you can probably see there with the sander, as I expected, that's just way too abrasive. That's just going to take everything right off the patina, everything. So yeah, I figured that wouldn't really work, but I thought I'd give it a try just in case. Okay, so that was the Brillo pad. All right, now as you can see, that's really taken off quite a lot of the oxidization. Again, I'm a little worried about doing the test patch here where it's just different from the weather exposure up top, but yeah, that's really bringing back a ton of the red. Okay, so there is the comet, or in our case it was barkeeper's friend. So you can see probably now that this patch up here, you probably see now we've got the sanding here, which has stripped everything right off. Brillo pad, which really brought back a lot of the red. And down here with the comet, which seemed to take less of the oxidization off. We still got some red coming through, but not as much. So that's interesting. All right, and our final one down here being the CLR. Interesting. All right, so I don't know if you can pull back here so we get a good look at all three of those, you can see comparison. So up here we have, very top we have sanding, just rips everything off. That's no good. Then we have here the next one down. That was the Brillo pad. Then we've got the Comet, which seemed to leave more of the oxidization. And then down here is the CLR. Now I was worried about the CLR, that it would take too much off, because it is rust remover. So that seems to be almost like a middle between those. Obviously we're ruling out sanding, and then we've kind of got three different things here, and it seems like this one is, Brillo is really bringing out original paint. Comet, barkeeper's friend, kind of keeping it more closer to what it is now, and this one down here kind of seems like it's giving it a mix of oxidized metal, and red paint. Very, very interesting. So you can see there, very cool look at how the 3 different methods can achieve different results. Okay, I think I'm ready to narrow this down. The Comet one just was not taking, I don't know, I don't think that would, it's not giving as dramatic an effect. And I would like to keep as much of the oxidized metal as possible, but that's almost just kind of keeping it exactly the way it is, which is cool. And maybe once we put the boiled linseed oil treatment on it, it would look pretty neat. But I'm going to try a test here in the bed using the other 2. So that's the Brillo pad and then the CLR. We'll go ahead and do the CLR first. It was last time. So that's interesting there. So now when I do it here on an actual exposed piece of the outside, boy, I'm not really seeing a ton of difference between those 2. So that's for your reference. That is the CLR on the left and the Brillo pad on the right. Kind of inconclusive. Interesting. Just for kicks and giggles, I decided to go ahead and run the Brillo pad over the mystery fender with the strange paint just to see what it would do. Just kind of, you know, scuff things up, soften the paint a little bit. I'm still needing a decision about what I'm going to do with that. It seems to me that the paint needs to come off of that. Just because I don't like the idea of having a nice natural patina on, you know, 98% of the truck, and then this one spot I've got weird paint for some reason. The only question being is, what are we going to find under there? Is it all going to be this bright original red like that? At least I think it's original. What would that look like? To have a cool patina all over oxidized metal look, but one red fender. I don't know. Maybe that could kind of be like its signature. I'm thinking about it. Okay, and I didn't show it the actual scrubbing process here, but I decided to go ahead and do the last 2 on a more exposed piece, and you can see the difference here. So this here was done with the Brillo, and over here was done with the CLR on a scuff pad. So fairly dramatic difference. Brillo pad is really bringing out a lot more of the original red, and the CLR is, surprisingly, I thought that would take off more of the rust or the oxidization, and it actually seems to be leaving it more. So I think those are our 2 finalists, if you see them side by side. Brillo pad, CLR. Leave a comment, tell me what you think, which way we should go.